Wanna play Rayman Origins? Just play Back to Origins. Back to Origins is the best way to play the original game. There's no reason to even play the original. Back to Origins is just all around better. These are some of the things people say whenever the topic of Rayman Origins gets brought up. Until recently, the game was not available on modern platforms. And while the game is on PC, I imagine the majority of people aren't playing platformers on Steam. But thankfully we did get a compromise. During the development of Rayman Legends, the game got delayed due to some stuff going on with the Wii U, but also not wanting to alienate the PlayStation and Xbox players. So with this extra time, they decided to take a good chunk of levels from Rayman Origins and put them into Rayman Legends, all with a brand new art style as well as some changes to make the game a little bit easier. Now this is cool and all, it's a nice little bonus for the game, but that's all it is to me, just a nice little bonus and not a full-on replacement. Now, if you like Back to Origins, that's fine, that's completely cool, I like it as well. But to make the argument that this is the best way to play Origins just never made sense to me. So first things first, one of the arguments that I usually see some people make is that you're basically getting the full game when you play Back to Origins. And I just want to know, who's been spreading that narrative around? Because anybody who has played the original Origins will know that you're not really getting the full game, you're just getting a little bit over half of it. The original game had 66 levels, while Back to Origins only has 40 levels, which means you're only getting about 60% of the original game. Now, for some people they might just say, oh, what's the big deal about that other 40% of the game? Well, this might just be a me issue, I can't lie, but I would say out of the 40 levels that are in Back to Origins, I really only play about half of them. Each world is going to contain 8 different levels, 4 regular platforming levels, 2 Mosquito stages, a treasure chest level, and 1 boss fight. And my main issue lies within the Mosquito levels. Now I plan to make a future video about this, but I'm just going to say it right here, but I do not really like the Mosquito levels in Rayman Origins. This mostly comes down to the fact that I'm a completionist when it comes to playing that game, having to keep up with your lump count, the random barrage of enemies, as well as the less than fair save points. It's made revisiting those levels whenever I play that game less than fun for me, but despite those issues, I still welcome the challenge nonetheless. So when you tone down the difficulty in Back to Origins, these levels feel more boring than anything, and I just feel like tuning myself out whenever I have to play them. And it's really weird why they decided to include both Mosquito levels. I would imagine most people would be saving these stages for last after they beat the main game, so by that point they're gonna be just fine with handling these types of levels. So why include the easier Mosquito level? Not only are they not really needed at this point, but they make even less sense since they end off with you transitioning into the next world, which wouldn't be that big of a deal if these were the last painting in the world that you're in, but they aren't, and the next stage after these Mosquito levels are usually just gonna be in the same world. Now, am I looking too deep into this and really shouldn't care because at the end of the day they're just bonus levels? A little bit, but I still feel like 1 Mosquito level should have been enough. Next up are the treasure chest levels, and while I somewhat get their inclusion in this game due to their difficulty in the original and just wanting people to experience it if they didn't have Origins, the whole point of them in Origins was to unlock the skull teeth so you can use them to go to the land of the living dead. But in here, you're just given teensies. And if that's all we're given, at that point I would just prefer a regular platforming level. And when you mix in the movement style of Rayman Legends, making levels way faster and easier, some of the challenge that used to be here is just kind of gone. As for the bosses inclusion, I'm gonna be honest, I think these are fine. While I'm not the biggest fan of them, like Mockingbird being way too easy, the other bosses offer some challenge that warrant being included. But even then, whenever I'm playing a Rayman game, I'm never really coming back for the boss fights. So out of all the 40 levels included, I honestly only play about like 25 of them. Like for Gibberish Jungle, they could have gone for levels like Go With The Flow, Out of My Way, or Up and Down. The Desert of Didgeridoos could have had something like High Voltage. At least a lot of the good levels from Gourmet Land were brought over, so thank God for that. But yeah, because the platforming in Rayman is so good, I really wish we just got more of those instead of the easier treasure chest levels or the Mosquito levels. And speaking of easier, as mentioned before, Legends makes a lot of these stages a lot more easier than they were in the original. Like the lump requirement is not as hard as it used to be. Now granted, it wasn't all that hard to begin with, but sometimes if you missed a skull coin or an Electoon cage, that alone could be a difference between you getting that lump medal or not. not. But here, it's not that uncommon to be almost 100 lumps over the limit, especially since the enemies no longer bubbleize and they just give you 5 lumps instantly, when beforehand you had to hit them twice and you only got 2 lumps out of it. Certain stages had their level designs tweaked a little bit to be a bit more easier as well, which once again doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, as I feel like most people are gonna play this after they're done with the main story of Legends, so they should be more than skilled to handle the stuff from the original game. And just like with the chest levels, because of the new movement, not only are you getting through stages faster, you're actively stripping away a lot of the challenge that was featured in the original. And while Rayman Origins isn't like a super hard game like Rayman 1 hard, anybody who has played both will tell you that one is a little bit tougher than the other. Now, despite all I've said, I still like Back to Origins to a certain degree, and I can't even lie, some of the stages in the Legends art style look absolutely beautiful. The lighting here in Swinging Caves looks so good, like this is how I thought the level looked in my mind as a kid compared to what we got in the final version. Also, to be a bit honest here for a second, I am being a bit of a hypocrite, cause when I replayed Rayman Origins, I did use a mod that implements the Legends movement style, so can't really complain about Legends being way too easy when I'm using this mod. But in my defense, things like the harder lump collecting and the harder platforming still makes Origins a bit more of a harder game. But to cap off this video, Back to Origins is fun and a nice way to get your fill on Rayman Origins, but it's not a full-on replacement for the original game either. So I'm really glad that this game is getting a remaster, as now it will give people the opportunity to actually experience the original game. But with that, that's gonna be the end of the video. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I will see y'all next time.